Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today what we're working on is doing a lift-off day. Today is the day, I hope, that we are going to be taking the body off of the 39 Ford Deluxe Forgotten Hot Rod project. So in the past bunch of episodes, we've been working on deconstructing the car and basically getting rid of all the junk, all the excess stuff, everything that's really rusty, getting it all out of the way, and now we're basically ready to take all the bolts out of the floor pan, take off the rear bumper and any of those odds and ends, and we can actually lift the body off and get that out of the way so we can see exactly how bad the frame is and also the rust on the floor pan, which we pretty much know already, but once we get everything separated, we'll be on our way to starting to repair some things. So we're gonna basically show you the process today. We're gonna give some use to my trusty I-beam and big chain hoist, as we do in a lot of videos, and we're gonna lift that off, roll the frame out of the way, and set the body down and get that out of the way, and then we can start working on stuff. So we'll see what happens, and we will show you the fun along the way as we go. All right, now I got the trunk open. I got that rear bumper off. I kept the bolts in the bumper brackets. We're going to be trying to put some kind of custom bumper on the car. So, looking for some early 50s Plymouth or Mopar bumpers, the ribbed style. But we're going to work on getting these bolts out next. So, in the rear, there's some bolts that are in the back of the trunk here. So, we'll stand away so you guys can see a little better. So the trunk floor is obviously kind of gone, or I should say the back part of the trunk floor, right at the tail pan, is gone. We have a tail pan that Max was nice enough to send us that we're going to be putting on later in the project. I'm going to do a little rust repair in the corners. But lucky for us, the rear trunk floor area here where it kicks down is kind of rotted away, and there's body mounts there. So right there and right over there are two bolts. This side is definitely completely disconnected, so we don't have to worry about it. This side, the bolt's pretty crappy, the metal's thin, but I think the bolt's still sort of connected, so I'm either going to cut the metal or break the bolt off. Then we're just going to work our way forward. So right here in the wheel well area, there is a bolt there. The other side, obviously, and then as we work our way up, there will be some more bolts. So I'm going to start in the back and take bolts off there and work our way up. I'll show you guys in the actual car. Luckily, a lot of these bolts aren't even really connected. So there's one over there, but you can see the floor is so rotten we can almost break the floor around those bolts and deal with them later. Up front here, there's some bolts by the transmission. Those ones we'll probably have to actually take out because the metal's half decent. And yeah, so there's a couple along the way that are a little hidden. The feet here at the B pillar on the driver's side, and then also on the passenger side, is a little crunchy there. And I think there's two bolts, one on either side there, but because they're disconnected because of the rust, we luckily don't really have to mess with them right now. So I'll work my way forward, and what I think I'm going to do is, once we get most of the bolts out, I'll start putting a little bit of upward pressure on the body with a strap on the body, and if we see anywhere that's tight, we'll stop, reevaluate, and see what bolts we missed along the way. So I'll work on getting the bolts out, and I'll try and show you guys after I have a couple out. We'll see if we can give this thing a tug. Alright, so a lot of the bolts back, behind here are so rusty that we can basically just chisel them out as we put some pressure up on the body. So we got two bolts up front here that we need to take out, and then way up front at the feet. Up here at the front of the cowl, there's one on the other side. We gotta take those out. So there's 4 there that are really solid. We need to get out. And we're gonna have to take the shifter. For now, just take the shifter out of the trans. And then we should be just about free that we can lift stuff off. Probably this e-brake cable too, I just noticed. Got to disconnect that from the handle, but probably 4 to 6 fasteners away from lifting this thing off. So, oh, maybe it's got a captive nut, which is may or may not be good. Hey, first captive nut. Don't. Get it? Yeah, I got it. First captive nut that came loose on its own. Bolt. Whoa! Count your lucky stars. Looks like...
Try it. I'm not even on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought you were behind it. You're close there. Might be spinning again. Again?
I think it's stripped out or it's not.
Alright. Probably a vice grips.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep, that was it. Sometimes they come off easy, other times they're like 2 of them right there.
You want a big pair of pump pliers? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Old rust?
Yeah, it's all kinds of gunk in it. There we go. There's the shifter. Oh, that dinosaur oil, gear oil smells fantastic. It's coming up in the front there. So the front feet are off. I wouldn't be surprised if there's bolts that are caught. Did I say there was one right here that was catching? Maybe they can cut it. This bolt's off. This one right here.
You got one still on it?
Oh no, the floor just popped right out.
That's all the lift we got, so if we're gonna lift more, we're gonna have to.
That's literally all the lift we
That's
have?
all the lift we've got. We're at the peak lift.
No, that's not gonna work. The suspension has got to unload more than that. Alright, let's see here. Is it supposed to connect on this side? Doesn't look like it. It feels like it's not connected by much. Keep going, I guess. So let's keep going.
It's the belt slipping along the body now.
Keep going. connect somewhere, like right in here. Free. Yeah, it's all free in there. This bolt's out of the hole. That one's out of the hole. Unless there's something that's attached to the running boards, but that's what we gotta figure out.
What's that?
Oh,
There you go.
look at that.
That's a good sign.
See, Joe showed up at the right time after all the bits and dirty work was done. It's like, oh, cool. Let's just push this chassis out. Oh, hold on, you caught right there at the floor pan. I'll give you the pry bar. Where can you?
I can't see where you're seeing this car.
It's right. Oh, I can mess with it. It's like right here. Something's happening. That's good. That was happening. All right. Is that enough? All right. Is that about it?
Oh, we got plenty more.
I don't know about that. We've got much more.
Good enough.
I think that's enough to roll. Probably roll the chassis out. You guys want to? All right.
Want to hook the strap up on this and just drag it out, or?
We can roll it. I rolled the car by hand. I freed all the drums up, so now it
Okay, turn it.
turn it.
Yeah, just back it to the. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's great. Hold on. All right. Hey, look at that. Alright, so it's a day later. We got the body all taken off, and by the time we were done, it was like 9 o'clock at night, and we were wiped out. It was really a pain in the butt to get the body off, because half the carriage bolts that went through the floor into the frame, we put an impact gun on them, they would spin, so I'd have to cut them off or split the nut. It was just a real pain laying under the car doing that, but we did get everything off. The chain hoist that I have was a huge help, because we were able to put some tension on it, see where the bolts were still connected or still catching, cut them, and keep moving on. So got everything off. We ended up leaving the running boards on the frame because it was a little easier to do that. I figured cutting all those bolts off will be easier now that the body's off, and we can take that off. So that's the next step for the next video, is going to be disassembling the frame, getting all the suspension off, getting the running boards, all the extra parts off. I want to check out how bad the gas tank is, if it's savable or not. If it's savable because we're on a budget, I'd love to clean it and reseal it with a gas tank kit from Eastwood. If not, we'll have to get a reproduction tank. So we're going to work on getting everything torn down, take it apart, and then ready to clean. Overall, the frame's not too rotten, which is really great, so we don't have to cut out any major sections and graft them back in, which is really awesome. So for any of you guys that are watching and are local, we are actually taking the free tea, wanted to mention in the next couple videos, to the Makunji Wheels of Time show. That is the 24th, second to last weekend in August.
This video comes out Sunday, so it's Thursday through Saturday of that week.
Yeah, Thursday through Saturday for when you're watching this. We're planning to be at the show. We talked to some of the club members. They contacted us and... Hey, Moon. They contacted us, Moon's chasing rabbits, and asked us about being, if we wanted to display. So we're setting up in the show with the free tea. I don't have MRSA. I'm not going to be dying, so I will be there. The car will be there, and whether it's tuned and running 100%, we don't know yet, but the tea will be there. So if you guys are local, come out to the Makunji Wheels of Time show. Then the weekend after that, we're going to be at the Duryea Days show here in Boyertown, PA. It's a good antique car show. We set up in a swap meet. And then the Big Daddy is the Gasket Goon show, which is September 7th. That show we're planning to have the meat truck there in the swap meet, and also the free tea set up next to it in the show. So if you guys are watching this, want to check out the car or come say hello, those 3 weekends in a row we're going to be doing events, which is really weird for me because I don't leave the shop that much. But yes, that's it. So videos Tuesdays, Fridays, Sundays. Subscribe, like it, tell your friends, spread the hype. Thanks. See ya. Oh boy. This running boards have seen better days. Rusty gold.
Yeah, that running board's a little shot.
This is your barn find beginner's kit. Put this on the running board of your car and you got a barn find.